This is the main boulevard of Jiayuguan. Very pleasant little town, and they've made every endeavor to plant as many trees as possible, keeping in mind that we really are in the middle of the desert here. We've made a stop here in Melon City. Now, Melon City is in the middle of the Gobi Desert. Everything, of course, is irrigated, and it's renowned for all its flowers. As in the Central Asian cities, space seems to be no problem. And we have these wide boulevards right throughout the city. Finally, a lunch stop. It's been rather a long drive from Jiayuguan. We've just been along a really rough detour right through the mountains in the Gobi. After many hours of driving through the Gobi Desert, we've arrived at the Yulin Caves. Now, these caves were hewn into the mountains by Buddhist monks thousands of years ago. How pleasant to see some greenery after hours in the desert. The caves date from the 4th century AD to the 17th century. Really a pilgrimage site for Buddhist monks. We're having a special tour. They're going to unlock 8 caves for us, but unfortunately we can't take photos inside. What a pity that we were not allowed to film inside the caves, because the wall decorations were truly amazing. The desert is the last place that you want to be stuck. Gobi means flat. We thought Madagascar was bad, but now here we are in the middle of the Gobi Desert, and we have a serious traffic jam on this bypass road. It looks like help is at hand. There's Sue looking rather fearful inside our van. Oh! Two-way traffic doesn't really work here, does it? This seems to be the cause of all the problems. This little van has got stuck in the mud, loaded with beers. Oh my goodness, can't we open one now? When all else fails, just make a new road. This guy means business. A load of strong men have managed to push the little van out of the ruts. The river that runs through the middle of Dunhuang is fed by the Chilean or Snowy Mountains, a couple of 100 kilometers away. The city's developed this beautiful waterfront, which is the evening recreational center of the population. This morning we're at the visitor center to the famous Magao Caves in Dunhuang. The number of visitors are strictly limited to 6,000 per day. Good thing we're not part of that little Japanese contingent. This pagoda was built by the nationalist Chinese in 1938. But inside is the giant Buddha from the 1st century. There was a lot of restoration done in the last century. Over 1,000 caves here.
Connect each other.
Mogai has over 1 million visitors per year. This afternoon we're on our way to the Mingsao Shan, which are the whispering sand dunes just outside of the city of Dunhuang. Bactrian camels, the 2 humps, just like they used on the old Silk Road. Because there's hardly any wind here, the shape of the dunes never change. The garden is fed by spring water. Unfortunately, the level of the water continues to drop, even though, as I said, in the past it never has run dry. But certainly in the Ming era, the water level was about 7 meters higher. The original pagoda dates back to the Han Dynasty, 2nd century BC. It was destroyed like so much else in China during the Cultural Revolution. But after that, it was rebuilt on exactly the same design. And there is Confucius, the original master of it all. Chinese breakfast is served.
What have we got here?
Style. We have some rather strange concoctions, probably raw bread and potato, rice noodles, red cabbage.
And what's this, benting pasta?
Yeah, it would be. It's probably seaweed or from some slime dam or other. Yeah. But they've actually got, the only recognizable thing is an egg. And these, of course, are buns. The gate is reconstructed in timber, as in the original. Yangguan is, of course, an oasis in the middle of the Gobi Desert. So it was a great stop for the Silk Road caravans. There you are. Nasu's going to use a battering ram to break down the walls of this fortress. The original construction was rammed earth and straw in layers. These columns commemorate victory in battles. This greenery in the Gobi Desert is a rather unusual sight. Last week they had a bit of rain and instantly the place greens up, but it won't last very long.
This is my family's ancestor, Zhang Qian. My surname is Zhang.
And he was really the original general in the 2nd century BC who opened the Silk Road. The modern water carriers. The bagua, or symbols of the I Ching.
The wood, the forest, the seed growing in the ground.
That takes us back 14 years when we were last in Jian with the terracotta warriors. Just an overview of the whole of the Yangguan oasis. This is the last remaining watchtower on this part of the Silk Road. This was the site of the old city of Yangguan. It disappeared about 1,000 years ago. Nobody really knows why, but it could have been a water problem.